All right, in this video I want to talk about two factors that I think contribute to online polarization. They are moralizing political disagreements and intellectual laziness. So moralizing political disagreements means if someone has a different opinion than us on a political policy, then we see them as being an immoral person, and if they just were a good, kind-hearted person, they would see things the same way as me. And I'm a good, kind-hearted person, and that's why I have the political views I do. It's also kind of narcissistic. And then by intellectual laziness, I mean just not taking the time to understand the perspective, the intent, the intentions of the people you're discussing with, and not taking the time to get your head around the relevant facts and data that are influencing their opinion. So yeah, two things: the intentions and the data. We need to understand the other person's intentions. You know, you're opposed to DEI, you're in favor of DEI, you're opposed to this, in favor of this. Why do you think that's a bad policy, or why do you think it's a good policy? Understanding what their intentions are rather than just attributing malice. So they kind of cross over, because attributing malice can be lazy, because generally it's not true. Generally it's just that we've misunderstood them. So we should take the time to understand each other. And we could be missing facts too, or the other person could be missing facts. So, you know, if we want to engage in online political debate, we should be willing to actually study the subject. One thing that drove me mad about COVID was that you'd be debating these people about vaccines or mandates or whatever, and they would just say, oh, but then what, doing your own research is dangerous, just believe what the experts say. And it's like, well, which experts? You know, I've listened to this expert, I've listened to this expert, I've heard their arguments out, I think these experts make the most sense, and here's why I think that. And they would just reply with mainstream talking points and quoting the experts. And it drove me nuts. Like, if you want to debate a subject, take the time to understand the subject. Don't just recycle talking points. So yeah, another thing that I want to say is there's three respectable approaches to have to any given subject. One is to just not care about it. I don't have an opinion on it, I haven't studied it, I don't know if this policy is a good idea or a bad idea. It's just not something that particularly interests me. So when you put no effort into studying a subject, you're well within your rights to not study any particular subject that you personally don't see as worth your time. But then you also don't have any right to lecture other people on what opinion they should have on that subject. You should remain agnostic. The other respectable position, the second respectable position to have on a subject, is to have an opinion on it that you've borrowed from someone else. So my mum said this, my brother said this, my parents said this, the people on TV said this, the politicians, the expert, the doctors say this, and I believe them. That's fine. You don't have to study the subject hard out, but you also, if you haven't studied it yourself, you don't have a right to lecture other people online about it. If you want to actually tell people what they should believe on a subject, you have to have weighed the arguments for and against that idea and be able to converse with the evidence and arguments. Which brings us to the third respectable position, which is, I've studied this hard out, here's what I believe, here's why, am I missing something? Here's my arguments, here's my understanding of the counter arguments. Can you point out a flaw in my logic or point out a piece of data that I'm missing? Yeah, that's about all I wanted to say on this subject. Yeah, again, I'm Alex Gallagher, I live in New Zealand, and this is the channel where I talk about politics, economics, and anything else on my mind. If you like this sort of stuff, subscribe, let me know what you think down in the comments, give us a like to help us out in the algorithm, and I will catch you in the next one.